Hello, good morning and welcome back to my channel where today I'm going to attempt to predict game week 6 of the 2019-2020 season. Let's have a quick look at how we did last week. Has to be said it wasn't a great week, but in all honesty, has to be said that game week 5 was definitely one to forget for sure. So basically, I had Liverpool to beat Newcastle by 3-0. It was 3-1, so got that one sort of close. Next one, I had Brighton 1, Burnley 1. That was absolutely correct. That was my only perfect score, and then I kind of went away a bit downhill from there. So I had 1-1 between Manchester United and Leicester, with a 1-0 win for Manchester United. I had a 1-1 draw between Sheffield United and Southampton. Was 1-0 to Southampton. Tottenham Crystal Palace, I went for a 2-0 win to Tottenham. That was 4-0. And then I literally got the next sort of 5 wrong. So Wolves 2, Chelsea 1. That finished 5-2 to Chelsea. So at least I got the 2 in Wolves right. But yeah, moving swiftly on. Norwich City, I put Man City to win 3-1. Norwich City ran out 3-2 winners. So that was the biggest upset of the weekend for sure. Bournemouth Everton, I went for a 2-2 draw, finished 3-1 to Bournemouth. Watford Arsenal, I went for a 2-0 win to Arsenal, finished 2-2. And Aston Villa West Ham, I went for a 2-0 win to Aston Villa, it was 0-0. So hopefully I can do better this week. And obviously this week, the reason I'm doing it Wednesday, because we have a Friday night game, and it is Southampton Bournemouth, the South Coast derby. Other matches include Leicester City against Tottenham. That's 12:30 on Saturday. That's live on BT Sport. Burnley against Norwich City. Everton against Sheffield United. Manchester City versus Watford. Newcastle United against Brighton. That's a 5:30 kickoff on Sky Sports Premier League and Sky Sports main event. And then obviously Sunday. This is something that I don't think I would have ever said before. All 4 games are in London. Yes. Crystal Palace against Wolves. West Ham against Manchester United. That is Super Sunday. That is live on Sky Sports Premier League and main event. Arsenal against Aston Villa. And then Chelsea against Liverpool, which is also on Super Sunday. So that is also on Sky Sports Premier League and Sky Sports main event. So hopefully, if you're not to do anything, then you can sit down and watch it. So let's get into these fixtures. So the first game we have is Southampton against Bournemouth. Now the last 5 between these two have resulted in 1-1 to Southampton, and there's been 4 draws. So you know these two are pretty well matched for these two. Both of these sides obviously coming off the back of wins in the last game. Also Southampton winning 1-0 at Sheffield United, and Bournemouth obviously winning 3-1 at Everton against Everton. So, you know, this is going to be a very interesting game. Obviously, Southampton, fantastic away win against Sheffield United. Very, very good goal from Gineppo as well. He's been looking fantastic actually. The player that they brought in from I think it was Club Brugge that they brought him in from. He's been outstanding ever since coming in. Obviously scoring at Brighton the previous week there as well. So yeah, do you know what I think? I think Southampton are starting to get into their rhythm a little bit. Vestergaard, obviously he's been playing very, very well. Picking up a few clean sheets along the way as well. So it's good to see, and obviously it's good for the Southampton to obviously get a clean sheet. But yeah, it's a very good away win, in fact, because their away form has been letting them down ever so slightly lately. But having said that, they're obviously back in front of their home fans. They'll definitely want to start winning home games. That's a certainty. But you know, it's going to be a very, very good game, this one. I think obviously it's a Friday night game, so it's obviously Friday night football. So obviously if you're not doing anything Friday, then obviously watch that game. Should be a very good game. Bournemouth obviously coming off the back of a 3-1 win over Everton and looking very, very good against Everton. Callum Wilson in particular, Josh King, that partnership that was so pivotal last season seems to be getting much better so far this season. So that's very, very good to see. How do I see this one going? Well, obviously there has been 4 draws in the last 5 games between these two. But for me, Bournemouth's away form really lets them down, and that's where I think I will pip Southampton to win this one. I just think that Southampton will be determined to get that first win at home this season for sure, and I think they will win this one. I think they will win this derby match, and I'm going to go for a 2-1 win to the Saints. I just feel that obviously home advantage is very, very key, and I'm not sure Bournemouth have actually won at St Mary's. Could be wrong on that one, but just the couple of games that they've played, I just feel that Southampton will want to win this one. So I'm going for a 2-1 win to Southampton. So that's obviously Friday night football. Now, 12:30 game on Saturday is Leicester City against Tottenham. Now, the last 5 between these two, there's been 1 win to Leicester and 4 wins to Tottenham Hotspur, and the last game was a 2-0 win to Tottenham. But obviously these two light goals between them. Obviously, the last game of the 2016-2017 season, 2017-2018 season, that finished 5-4 to Tottenham. So yeah. Obviously, both of these had they had pretty good games last time. Well, obviously Leicester, obviously coming off the back of a 1-0 defeat to Manchester United, but how they didn't get anything from that game is beyond me. Manchester United kept Jamie Vardy very, very quiet. That was one of his most quietest games. But has to be said though, Wilfred Ndidi definitely played a lot better in the midfield, and he did kind of boss the midfield in that area. But obviously Chilwell had a shot saved by De Gea, and Leicester will go away from that pretty unlucky, because they looked like getting something in that second half. Obviously the penalty decision is a penalty in the end. Sienku, who I was giving absolutely credit for last week, he's conceded a penalty, and then obviously Marcus Rashford scores for Manchester United. But Leicester City will go away from that and think that they can do a lot better. They've got a tough run of fixtures coming up actually, because obviously they've had Manchester United, they've got Tottenham, and then in a couple of weeks they go to Anfield as well at Liverpool. So and obviously they've got Carabao Cup action as well. So it's a tough run for Brendan Rodgers, and squad rotation is going to be very, very key, I think, for these games. Tottenham, obviously, coming off the back of a 4-0 win over Crystal Palace, and that first half performance, they were absolutely superb. It looks like Son's getting much better now. He seems to be scoring more goals now, and it's good to see for sure. And obviously, Harry Kane, obviously, he wasn't on the score sheet. And how he wasn't, but he's still playing very well. But I think Tottenham were just too clinical for Crystal Palace, and unfortunately that is the case. So, in my opinion, I think it's going to be very, very interesting game. I just have to fancy Tottenham, although obviously they are playing Olympiacos tonight. That'll be an interesting game as well. But for me, I'm going to go for a 3-1 win to Tottenham. I just think that Tottenham have been playing very, very well, and I think they've got a very good record against Tottenham, with 4 wins out of the last 5. So I think that'll be a very, very good win for Tottenham. So I'm going for a 3-1 win to Tottenham. Burnley against Norwich City. Now the last 5 between these two have resulted in 2 wins to Burnley, 2 draws, and 1 win to Norwich City. And the last game was a 2-1 win to Burnley. But obviously this was in the Championship. This is their first ever meeting in the Premier League. So it's going to be a very, very interesting one. Obviously Burnley getting that last minute equaliser from Jeff Hendrick at Brighton. Very, very good performance from him. Yeah, I think it was safe to say that it was a bit of a smash and grab, but it was a good point to get away from Brighton. But they did make their chance. They did make chances at Brighton, and they'll hopefully come back at Turf Moor this weekend, and obviously hope to get that elusive win. Norwich City, the story of the weekend for sure, beating Manchester City 3-2 and not looking out of place at all in the Premier League. They were absolutely superb, and the way they played against Man City was fantastic as well. Going to be very interesting this game. Obviously, Timu Puki has been absolutely superb so far this season, and it's going to be more interesting to see if he can keep this up. Todd Cantwell as well at left midfielder. Obviously, he scored the second against Man City, and he didn't look out of place either. Kenny McLean obviously scoring the first goal for Norwich City against Man City as well. So yeah, away from home, they are going to have to sort of tighten up, I think. But having said that, they obviously did win against Man City, so they'll definitely be wanting to definitely be a lot better away from home. For this game, though, I have to fancy it. I can't really separate these two. I do think these two will be near or thereabouts by the end of the season. I think I wouldn't like to say a relegation battle, but just have a feeling these two will be close to each other by the end of the season. And that's why I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. I just cannot separate them, and I would not be surprised if Timu Puki scored, and I would not be surprised if Ashley Barnes scored, because Ashley Barnes has been on sensational form as well as Timu Puki. So it's a battle of the informed strikers in this one. Obviously Ashley Barnes and Timu Puki, and I can't separate them, so I'm going for a 1-1 draw between Burnley and Norwich. Everton against Sheffield United. Now they've only met 3 times, would you believe it or not? And there's been 2 wins to Everton and a draw. And the last game between the sides was a 2-0 win to Everton way back in 2007. So that's a long time since Everton and Sheffield United have met each other. Everton, disappointing result at Bournemouth. Defensive mistakes after defensive mistakes again. It's just something that you have to say with Marco Silva sides. They cannot defend, and they're conceding goals again from set pieces. They cannot defend for the life of them. Yeah, I mean, it was obviously Richarlison got Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Obviously, he got his first goal of the season. So be interesting to see if he gets up to scratch. And it'll be interesting. It'll be very, very interesting to see what will definitely happen in this one. But obviously they're coming back in front of their Goodison faithful. They'll be expecting to definitely win this one as well. Sheffield United obviously losing 1-0 to Southampton, and they'll be without Billy Sharp, who got sent off. It was a bad tackle. He goes in on his man, catches him sort of high on the ankle, and yeah, it is definitely a red card. But the thing with Sheffield United, though, they're not getting hammered, and I think that's a testimony to Chris Wilder. They're tough to beat, Sheffield United, and I think away from home, they've not lost away from home yet. 2-2 at Chelsea, and then obviously 1-1 at Bournemouth. So it's been a pretty good start for Sheffield United, and but obviously losing to Southampton at the weekend, that was very, very disappointing. But they did have their chances in that game, and it's going to be a very hard game for Sheffield United here. So in that aspect, I'm going to go for an Everton win. I just think that Everton will be far too strong for Sheffield United. I'm going for a 2-0 win to the Blues. Manchester City against Watford. In the last 5 games, Manchester City have won all 5. That was including the FA Cup final, which they won 6-0. But the last game between the sides in the Premier League was a 3-1 win to Man City. Manchester City, wow. Wow. Defensive mistakes. Yeah, John Stones is now out for 5 weeks, so they are in a bit of a defensive crisis because obviously Laporte is now out, and obviously now Stones is out as well. So who's going to play at the back? I would imagine Otamendi will play because obviously he's the only sort of centre back left. So does Fernandinho go at centre back? Do they move Kyle Walker to centre back and then put Cancelo at right back? That's another one. Who knows? But yeah, that was a shock defeat for Manchester City, and obviously they go Shakhtar tonight. You would expect them to probably win that one. And then obviously they come back in front of the Etihad faithful. They'll be expectant for a definite improvement for that, because the fact is that once Man City lose, then they seem to want to have want to score a few in this one, and this is what I fear about. I fear for Watford for this game. But yeah, it was a shock defeat, but it's one of those things. Then their marking from a corner was really poor, and the one thing that gets me in this game, the Norwich game, was they were very poor defensively, and they seem to keep conceding from set pieces, which is worrying. But if you see that third goal, I mean, Otamendi is ball watching, doesn't even know where Buendia is before he plays in Pukki. So that's a definite definite no. So obviously Otamendi will have to definitely improve his defending for sure. Watford's obviously 2-0 down to Arsenal at half time, and then completely different story. I mean, Watford to have 31 shots on goal against Arsenal was fantastic. And in fact, they were really unlucky to actually, go down 2-0 at half time, because they were the better team in that whole match. Watford's, credit to them, they came back 2-2, nearly won it in the end as well. Yeah, they'll be disappointed not to have gone home with a win there. And obviously, Quique Sanchez-Flores, like I said, the new management bounce, it seems to have worked so far. So, but for this game, I can only really see one winner in this game, unfortunately, because Man City have a very good record against Watford. I'm going to have to go for a 4-1 win to Manchester City. I do think Watford will score, though, but I do think Man City will be wanting to avenge that Norwich defeat with a vengeance, and I'm going to go for a 4-1 win to Manchester City. Newcastle United against Brighton, the last 5 between these two have resulted in 1 win to Newcastle, 2 draws and 2 wins to Brighton. And the last game between the sides was a 1-0 win to Brighton last season. Newcastle United obviously going off the back of a 3-1 defeat to Liverpool, but it has to be said, for the first sort of 7, 10, 15 minutes, they were excellent. They were really excellent against Liverpool. And Williams, absolute wonder goal from him. It was a very good finish, high into the roof of the net. It was a cracking finish from Williams. But it's not too bad a result to obviously lose 3-1 in the end. I think every Newcastle fan would have probably gone over to Anfield, probably with not much expectation, but they gave a good account of themselves, and they can be proud of the way they played. Obviously, coming back in front of their St James's Park faithful, they will be expectant for a better result this time round. Brighton obviously 1-1 with Burnley in the last game, so obviously they'll be expectant to try and improve that one. For this game, though, problem with Newcastle is consistency, and I think this is a problem as well. Brighton, obviously, I think if I'm right in saying their last away win was Watford. That was 3-0. I actually fancy the Seagulls here. I just have a feeling that Brighton will probably come to St James's Park and probably play a lot better than many people think. I'm actually going to go for a 2-1 win to the Seagulls in this one. I just think that Brighton will be key to want to win this game. I think Brighton will win this game. I think if Mopé starts, he seems to be scoring a lot more now, which is good to see. So yeah, I'm going for a 2-1 win to the Seagulls. I think Newcastle will be a bit wary of Brighton, and I think Brighton can take advantage of that. I'm going to go for a 2-1 win to Brighton, and this game is on Saturday Night Football, which is a 5:30 kickoff. So yeah. So let's go to the Sunday games, and the last 4 fixtures are all in London, and the first one is Crystal Palace against Wolves. Now the last 5 between these two have resulted in excuse me, Crystal Palace 3 wins, Wolverhampton Wanderers 2 wins, and the last game between the sides was a 1-0 win to Wolves. Crystal Palace were absolutely shocking in that first half at Tottenham. Obviously, look, you cannot go 4-0 down behind and then basically expect to come back. But they kind of rallied in the second half. But unfortunately, it's just one of those things that that is what you have to worry about. Palace is that without Zaha and without Townsend, you have to worry for them, and I mean, the one other worry for Crystal Palace fans is that their home form has not been great. Obviously, winning 1-0 against Aston Villa last time out at Selhurst Park, but it is one of those things. Wolves 5-2 defeat to Chelsea. Is the Europa League taking effect? We know what happened to Burnley when they were in the Europa League, and they were really they were struggling badly. But Wolves, obviously, I can see them going to Crystal Palace, and I can see them winning. Believe it or not, I just can. I just think with Palace's home form, I just have a feeling that it could be another defeat for Palace at home. But obviously Wolves got Europa League action. Be interesting to see how much sort of team rotation they'll do. And for me, I think that if that is the case, then I think Wolves will win this one. I'm going to go for I was 1-0 last season. I'm going for 1-0 this season. I'm going for Crystal Palace 0, Wolves 1. So hopefully that will be. Hopefully, we shall see what happens. But for me, that will be Wolves' first win of the season. So we'll see what happens in that one. But for me, I just feel the Wolves will want to win their first game, and I think they will here. 1-0 to Wolves. West Ham against Manchester United. The last 5 between West Ham and Manchester United have resulted in 3 wins to Manchester United, 1 draw and a win to West Ham. And in fact, that last game was in fact a 3-1 win to West Ham at the London Stadium. West Ham, obviously they'll be without Arthur Masuaku, who was sent off against Aston Villa. Oh my goodness. I mean, if you've seen as soft a red card as that, yeah, it was a shocking decision by Mike Dean. It really was. It was a shocking decision. It was never a red card. Soft as anything, really. Unfortunately, he's obviously going to miss this game against Manchester United. But West Ham were probably got a fair point at Aston Villa. So obviously they're back in front of the home fans, and obviously they beat Manchester United last season. Can they do it again? It'll be interesting to see this one. Manchester United obviously coming off the back of a 1-0 win over Leicester. Obviously Marcus Rashford getting the winning goal. But Manchester United fans, your away form is really worrying because you have not won an away game in all competitions since the 6th of March, which was the PSG game. That was a 3-1 win in PSG. So your away form is really, really worrying. And because of that aspect, I think West Ham will get a shock victory. I'm actually actually thinking West Ham will win this one. It'll be interesting to see if Pogba, Martial and Shaw will make it. I don't think they will. Maybe Pogba, but the other two I think are still out for a wee while. But obviously, Manchester United can go into next week's game against Arsenal. That is a big game already. So, but for this game, I just think Manchester United's away form is very worrying, and I'm going to go for a 2-1 win to the Hammers. I think West Ham will win this one, so I'm going for a 2-1 win to West Ham. Arsenal against Aston Villa. Now, the last 5 between these two, Arsenal have won all 5 fixtures. And the last game was a 4-0 win on the very last day of the 2015-2016 season. This was obviously when Aston Villa were relegated. Arsenal. Oh my goodness me. 2-0 up, absolutely cruising at Watford, then complete capitulation. That second half, they were absolutely horrendous. I mean, Socrates plays a ball straight to Cleverley, and then that's 2-1. David Luiz. We all know about David Luiz. We all know about him making mistakes. He makes a mistake. That's 2-2. This is a worrying stat though. From the last 15 league games on offer, so that's 45 points up for grabs. They've only taken 19 points out of the last 45 available. That is relegation form. That is not good at all. And the other thing is, Arsenal have let 96 shots on their goal. They have faced 96 shots on their goal. That's more than Derby County had when they were relegated in the 2007-2008 season. That is a big concern for Arsenal. Obviously, they're going to Frankfurt tomorrow. That will be a very interesting game as well. So obviously, this is a Sunday game. Obviously, 4:30. Shall be an interesting one. Aston Villa. They almost won against West Ham, but wasn't good enough. The way they played wasn't the best, I have to say. But going into this one, obviously Aston Villa have won at the Emirates before. If I remember rightly, one of the seasons was the 2014-2015 season, and Aston Villa won 3-1 that day. So I think that Arsenal will win this one. I don't see them keeping a clean sheet. You cannot trust Arsenal's backline at the present moment in time, and I think it'll be a 3-1 win to Arsenal. And the final game is Chelsea against Liverpool. Now, the last 5 between these two have resulted in 1 win to Chelsea, 3 draws, and 1 win to Liverpool. And the last game was a 1-1 draw, if everyone remembers. Daniel Sturridge's wonder strike against Kepa. Chelsea, fantastic win away at Wolves, 5-2. Lovely to see Tammy Abraham get a hat-trick after obviously his recent troubles with obviously the racial abuse, etc. as well. So good to see him get a hat-trick. Mason Mount, obviously he scored as well. It was really good to see, and obviously Tomori as well getting the goal for Chelsea as well. So they're looking very good. Obviously losing to Valencia last night, that was a wee shame as well. But you know what, Chelsea have got a really good squad now of youth coming through, especially Mason Mount, Tammy Abraham, Tomori. It is good to see, but obviously Chelsea will obviously assess Mason Mount after being on the end of a really bad tackle from Francis Coquelin, but it'd be interesting to see if he makes it. It was a really bad challenge, so hopefully he's okay. Yeah, obviously they're coming in front of their Stamford Bridge faithful, and you know, one thing though they haven't had this season is a clean sheet, and they definitely need that very soon if they want to win more games. Liverpool 3-1 winners over Newcastle. Very looking very good. Sadio Mane again, 2 goals for him. Firmino, you can see what happens when Roberto Firmino comes on for Liverpool. He is the glue to that attack. And his assist for Mohamed Salah was just something else. It really was. Obviously, Liverpool losing 2-0 to Napoli last night. But, you know, obviously, they'll be coming out of the back of this game. Actually, interestingly enough, these two teams are now level on the head-to-head record. I think it's something like, is it 51? I think it's either 51 or 56 games played. And obviously, you know, there's been Chelsea, Liverpool are level on the head-to-head record. So it'll be very, very interesting. But for me, I have to back my team. I'm going to I think that because of Chelsea not being able to keep clean sheets, but obviously Liverpool have only kept one clean sheet all season as well. I think it'll be a very, very tight game. I think it'll be a very, very tight game. Obviously, they have met already this season, and I was in the Super Cup where it finished 2-2. Should be a very, very good game. I'm going for a 2-1 win to Liverpool, and that will continue their 100% start to the season. So that is it. That is my predictions. Please leave your predictions in the comment section below. That'd be fantastic to hear. And also check out Mr. Exclusive's channel. I'll put his description in the comment section below, in the description as well. Yeah, 3-2 up against him now, so hopefully it'll be 4-2. We shall see what happens. But for this one, yeah, we'll see what happens. So just go over my predictions again. Southampton 2, Bournemouth 1, Leicester 1, Tottenham 3. Burnley 1, Norwich 1, Everton 2, Sheffield United 0, Manchester City 4, Watford 1, Newcastle United 1, Brighton 2, Crystal Palace 0, Wolves 1, West Ham 2, Manchester United 1, Arsenal 3, Aston Villa 1, and Chelsea 1, Liverpool 2. So that is it. That is my Game Week 6 predictions. Like I've said, please leave your predictions in the comment section below. Yeah, we'll have a good week for the football, and obviously Friday night kicks it off with Friday night football with Southampton Bournemouth. That South Coast derby should be a good one, and obviously Leicester City against Tottenham. That is Saturday lunchtime. That's on BT Sport, and then obviously Newcastle United against Brighton. That is Sky Sports Premier League. That's 5:30 kick off, that one. And then Super Sunday, we've got West Ham against Manchester United and Chelsea against Liverpool. So enjoy the football. Good luck to your teams, and it should be a very good weekend of football coming up. And I'll be back tomorrow with my Europa League predictions for the British-based teams. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll be back very, very soon with more videos. Bye bye for now.